is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, I'm going. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're going to talk about the Atlanta Hawks in the rebuilding series. This is a team that has a lot of good things going for it. When you look at the people on the paper and you look at they got their star in Trae Young, a guy that has been an all-star starter already. He only been in the league for 2 years. Even though they started winning a little bit more later in the season, just like they did last year. They ended up making a trade for Capela. They ended up moving some guys around, and now they have their team that they feel like can compete in the Eastern Conference. Even though they are far away from being a legitimate contender in the Eastern Conference, they getting closer to at least being a playoff team, and they get to add another top 10, top 5 potential pick in this year's draft to put along that young talent. See, the thing about the Atlanta Hawks is they're not really in need of anybody. They have their guards, they have their forwards, they have their bigs with Capela and John Collins. And they have Trae Young as their superstar who has proven that he can make big shots, that he can create and make other people around him get easier and better looks. And he has guys that are supposed to be defenders, even though I think the Hawks is one of the worst defensive teams I ever seen. They give up so many baskets, they concede baskets, they don't try consistently hard. And honestly, they don't know how to win, and that's why they in the position that they are in, getting another top 10 pick. But when you look at this team, they have a lot of promise. And when I look at this draft, there's not one guy to me that that the Hawks should really take. So if you was coming to hear that, you're not going to see it. I don't see one player in this top 10 in the lottery that I can say he should go to the Hawks. So I'm not going to give you that. I'm just going to talk about the Hawks in general. Just because you look at DeAndre Hunter, a guy that was known for his defense, gave up a lot of buckets this year, but he still tried to go out there and compete, and that's all you can ask your guy to do. We in a situation where the NBA is at a high when it comes to talent and skill. It's hard to defend at this level, and it's easy to get blew out, and it's easy to score over 100 points because everybody's getting up and down. Everybody can handle the ball a little bit, and everybody can shoot. And everybody is starting now to space out the court all around the NBA. And the Hawks are behind. They have really no great defenders on this roster outside of Clint Capela. And I wouldn't call Clint Capela a great defender either. Even though he does give them rim protection, he does give them speed and athleticism at that center position. But that's why you don't need a James Wiseman, because you have Capela, and that's why you don't need an Obi, because you have John Collins, and you don't need a Cole Anthony or Killian Hayes, because you already have Cam Reddish, who is a guy that you want to give the playing time, you want to develop, because he has that superstar upside or a potential all-star upside, but he needs to continue to develop, continue to play, and continue to work on his craft to reach that goal. So you don't want to get that to interfere with a guy. So what they should do is try to fill out the bottom of their roster with quality guys that can grow with this core. And in this situation, I listened to Jonathan Givony. I've been following Draft Express. I was able to meet Jonathan Givony at Summer League, and we was able to have a small conversation, one-on-one, man-to-man. And I like him, and I like what he said. I'm in this position going to take what he said and then apply it to the Hawks. Trade down. And that's just honest. If they get a top 5, top 10 pick, I think they should trade down and get 2 more pieces for that bench. They're not really in need, like I said, of any position. They don't really need a superstar because there's not that many in this draft. And if it is in the top 3, which they might not even get. And if they don't get that, there's nobody that they really need anyway out of this draft. So to me, they should try to bolster their bench. Get some guys on some rookie contracts that can come in and contribute and give you some good, backup minutes, potential starter minutes if injuries come, and have your team a lot more deeper. And like I said, the best part about that will be being able to have guys on cheap contracts for a couple years that you don't have to worry about getting in the way of the players that you already have and you're trying to develop and you're trying to build. Plus, they can grow with this core. This is a very, very young team with a very, very high upside if everybody starts developing the way we think they will, and we hope they will.
But until we see that, we really don't know where to go with this Atlanta Hawks team. I like what they have been doing on paper. When you look at this team, they're going to lose Vince Carter. They already have Bembry. They have Bruno Fernando, who looks like he can be something. They have Kevin Herter, who can shoot. They have Scal now, who's another big that can give them spacing. You have Jeff Teague, who I don't think going to stay around that long. And even if he don't, you can always get a guy in this draft to give some minutes at that position, depending on where they get picked at or if they decide to trade down and get the two players. But other than that, they got their main core that they're building around already intact. So it's not one guy that they need. So if I had to really pick people that they should try to get out, I think they should try to definitely get another guard and try to probably get another forward. Just because I see those positions being the positions they need help with depth in the future, even if it's getting a Cole Anthony later in the draft to be a backup. A lot of people feel like he can be a microwave type of scorer, run the offense, get you some buckets, give you some floor space, and then knock down some shots. Well, they can use a guy like that, especially if they decide not to bring back Jeff T. And he'll be on a lot cheaper contract, and he can grow with the team. You also look at Obi. Can Obi be a good fit on this team? He's a guy that can come in and make an impact right away. You probably can get him later in the lottery, and he can probably help if John Collins go down. You'll have another guy that can fill that position on a cheap contract and, can give you 15 to 20 minutes every night, and he's going to play hard and bring effort and energy. You also can get guys with upside that can potentially be six man. You can go with Isaac Okoro, who can defend and gives you another guard that you can put out there with DeAndre Hunter and possibly Cam Reddish if he can develop. You also look at other guys on this like Tyrese Halliburton, another guy that can play that point guard position. But you can find him later in the draft if you decide to trade down and get a guard that know what he can bring to the table. You know what he is, and you know he can go out there and play and execute the offense. And he gives you size at that position, something that Trae Young really don't give you at this point in his career and never will. So it's not going to replace Trae Young. He's not going to be better than Trae Young, but he gives you options if you need somebody to come off the bench. You know he's reliable, he's durable, he can play his role. So when I'm looking mostly at the Atlanta Hawks, if they don't get LaMelo Ball, if they don't get Anthony Edwards, if they don't get those type of guys, they can always fill out the rest of their roster. But the main thing for the Atlanta Hawks going into next season is just to grow together, build their chemistry, build their trust, work on their body. A lot of their guys are a little too small. They can't really stay in front of guys. I think that's something that they got to work on, especially if they're going to be a serious threat in the East. They trying to get the Steph Curry and the Spurs and the Golden State of the East. Well, those teams pride themselves on defense. The Spurs have always been a great defensive team besides this year, and they always prided themselves on defense, same with Golden State with Klay Thompson and Draymond being some of their star players. But we know you're going to give up buckets. As long as you're too small, too little, and you don't really try hard enough, you're going to get torched at the NBA level, and that's what we consistently seen these last 2 years. But when you look at this team and you look at what they have done already, and you look at the talent that they have amassed, and you look at the fact that they haven't even played Clint Capella a game, this team has upsides to be a threat in the East. But can they put it all together and become a legitimate contender in the next 3 to 4 years? Because it's not going to happen next season. So it's going to be in the future. And adding a couple more pieces will only help. I do think the depth of the Hawks is a question, and that's why I wanted them to fill them with going down in the draft and getting impact players to fill out that bench, because we know what their starting lineup is going to be when healthy. And having guys that can come in and contribute on a cheap contract is affordable, it's smart, and it's a move that really will make sense for the Hawks, who has no desperate needs in the starting lineup to fill, in my personal opinion. But other than that, that's all I got to tell you guys. I think the Atlanta Hawks fans are going to like what I said. I think they're going to agree with a lot of things I said, because I've been watching the Hawks for so many years. I understood what they made the Trae Young trade. Yeah, you gave up on a generational player and Luka Doncic, but you did get a guy back that can make his teammates better, that can create his own shot, can take over games, can close games. But you also take that gamble with getting Cam Reddish with Trae Young. And Cam Reddish was always a guy that people had thought that he really can be a star. He really can be something special. So not only do you get a 30.9 assists guy in Trae Young that's only been in the league for 2 years, you get a Cam Reddish, a guy that has so much potential and upside, he might be worth getting rid of Luka Doncic. Now, will that be true? Doesn't look like it right now, the way Cam Reddish been playing. And I've never been a big fan of him either. But it's still a possibility, and that's why they took that gamble. But at the same time, they have their core, they have their nucleus, they have their identity already. It's just about cleaning up on defense, players playing smarter on offense, and developing their young players' bodies and understanding and chemistry together to get to that point where they can be a collective and be a serious team in the East. They far away from that now, but that's their end goal. And they could reach it. But you also need a bench, and you also need other guys to know their role, accept their role, and cherish and, prosper in that role. And that's what I think they should focus on in this draft and in the future. And if they do that, I think that would be the good way. You don't need no replacements. You just need to see what you have, see what they can do in the future, and continue to fill and build and put around talent around this nucleus and see where they can get you. But that's years from now. Other than that, like I usually say, if you watch the video in the beginning, check out my merchandise on my spread shirt. That will be in the description. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Thanks for everybody that liked on Facebook. Thanks for everybody that liked the video. If you haven't liked the video, like and share. I appreciate it. Also, at the same time, I do videos just like this, discussions. I also talk about the draft. I also talk about free agency, trade deadline. I do season preview. I do playoff predictions. I even cover Summer League. I also break down players. And I also break down NBA rookies and real footage. So if you love basketball, you watch it every day, you need it every day, this is the channel for you. Subscribe and become part of the family. If you love these videos, why wouldn't you? And at the end of the day, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis. I'm done.